In a recent EastEnders episode, Whitney Dean's visit to Milton Keynes revealed the absence of her stepbrother Morgan Butcher. Bianca Jackson explained Morgan's preoccupation with a girlfriend, mirroring the earlier departure of Tiffany and Liam. The episode also featured drama with Whitney discovering a neglected neighbor. Meanwhile, upcoming storylines include Stacy's secret visit to Denise, Linda's struggle with trauma, George Knight's shocking revelations, and Nish Panesar's plan to get closer to Kat Mitchell using her children. EastEnders explains missing character in Milton Keynes episode. Via EastEnders spoilers follow. EastEnders has addressed the whereabouts of a missing character in Whitney Dean's special Milton Keynes episode. The soap started laying the groundwork for Shona McGarty's exit from the BBC One soap in Monday's, March 4th, episode when she visited stepmom Bianca Jackson in Milton Keynes. While Whitney and partner Zach Hudson were getting settled in, there was a bit of information about a missing character who viewers may have expected to see. When Whitney asked Bianca how her son Morgan Butcher was doing, she was told he wouldn't be able to drop in for her visit. NCA Jackson offers an update on one of her kids. Related, EastEnders gift guide, all the best books and merchandise for fans of the soap. He's got a girlfriend, he's obsessed, I hardly see him, Bianca explained. Viewers know why a few of Morgan's other siblings weren't present in Milton Keynes either, as Tiffany moved to Germany alongside husband Keegan Baker 2 years ago. The pair went to live with Tiffany and Morgan's brother Liam, who'd moved to Germany years earlier with girlfriend Cindy Williams. There was an unfortunate update recently when Cindy Beale revealed her daughter Cindy had split from Liam and was living on her own in Germany. Monday's episode still had plenty of drama for Whitney when she discovered Bianca's neighbor, a girl named Brittany, was being neglected by her mother. EastEnders Stacey Slater to be caught out in murder story. EastEnders spoilers follow. EastEnders Stacey Slater will be caught out by Jack Branning next week, when she pays Denise Fox a secret visit. Denise was sectioned last month, after experiencing psychosis in the wake of Keanu's Christmas Day murder and cover-up. Denise's breakdown gave Stacy and Jack a wake-up call in regards to the affair they were having behind her back, and they decided to part ways. Despite this, they will be thrown together again next week as Lily and Ricky celebrate Mother's Day at Walford East. Amy and Ricky beg Jack to let them see Denise, and he promises to speak to Chelsea to try to make it happen. With Denise still refusing to see anyone, Johnny Carter insists that Stacy needs to get to her before Jack or the kids do in order to protect their secret. Johnny piles on the pressure for Stacy, who eventually manages to convince Denise to let her visit. At the hospital, Denise tells Stacy she's no longer seeing visions of Keanu, but intends to stay in hospital until she is fully recovered. Stacy tries to convince Denise that she should be back with her family, just as Jack walks in and demands to know why Stacy is there. Stacy is then forced to think on her feet to give Jack a convincing cover story as to why she's with Denise. Jack is left even more hurt and confused when Denise turns him away. During a talk with Dr. Abe afterwards, Denise explains that she feels safe in the hospital and wants to stay there for the time being, back at home. Jack becomes increasingly rattled by Stacy and Denise's closeness and starts to do some digging. What will he find? 6 EastEnders spoilers for next week. George Knight's past exposed and Dean is attacked. Also, Johnny returns as Linda hits rock bottom. Amy worries about Denise and Nish schemes again. There's a shock in store for George Knight next week as he finally uncovers what his parents Eddie and Gloria Knight have been hiding. Walford also sees the return of Johnny Carter, who wants to look after Mum Linda Carter. He lashes out at her rapist, his uncle Dean Wicks. But Johnny is unprepared for just how broken Linda is. Elsewhere, Amy Mitchell is keen to cover up the extent of stepmom Denise Fox's struggles, and Nish Panesar has a new plan. 6 EastEnders spoilers next week. 1. Eddie Knight manipulates son George Knight. George nervously prepares to return to his parents' home for the first time in years for Dad Eddie's awards celebration. When George, Elaine Peacock, and his daughters Gina and Anna arrive, he's stunned by Eddie's sudden pride in him, and the way his dad's friends treat him like a hero. Eddie stuns George with a heartfelt speech about him, and George tells Elaine that he may have misread Eddie's behavior, maybe his dad always loved him after all. But when Eddie's pal Gerald lets slip that the jury is going to love him, a confused George presses for more information. He learns that Eddie is facing trial for the racially motivated murder and needs George to be a character witness. George is devastated as it dawns on him that Eddie only means to manipulate him. As the week continues, George tries to focus on Gina and her birthday, but when Eddie and Gloria arrive, George confronts them about the court case and orders them out. Gloria is desperate for George to help them, but he dismisses the situation and ends up having a heart-to-heart with Gina. As George talks about his childhood, he tries to excuse Eddie's behavior, which infuriates Gina. When George works up the courage to look up Eddie's case, he calls his father and insists they talk. 2. George Knight learns the truth about his past. When his parents return to the Vic, George demands to talk to Eddie alone. A painful confrontation leads George to unlock the truth about his childhood, Eddie's racist attitude, and what really happened all those years ago. Meanwhile, Gloria tries to explain herself to Elaine and begs her to help persuade George to testify for Eddie. Whatever happens next, George is left in turmoil after hearing some shattering revelations. During a training session with Denzel Danes, George goes too far, and Elaine is horrified to see him lose it with the teen. George is then filled with self-hatred over being just like Eddie. Later, Elaine reluctantly accompanies Gloria to see George at the boxing den, where Gloria pleads with George to hear her out. Against Elaine's wishes, George agrees, but what will Gloria have to tell him? 3. Johnny Carter returns and punches Dean Wicks. Johnny helps a drunk Linda up and is horrified by the state of his mom, quizzing his family over why she's gone so downhill so fast. It's then that Elaine reveals that Dean is back, and as Johnny goes to confront Dean, he's spotted by old friend Ben Mitchell, Max Bowden, who follows him into Beale's Eels. Ben has to drag Johnny away from Dean, and Johnny joins Ben and Callum Highway for a drink and a chat. But at closing time, Johnny punches Dean, warning him to leave Linda alone. Ben and Callum are concerned by Johnny's angry behavior, and Ben soon promises to help get rid of Dean, but he assures Callum the plan will be legal and above board. Johnny plans to launch a civil case against Dean, until Callum explains that Linda was recorded claiming she lied about the rape thanks to Dean's manipulations. Johnny and Gina decide to work together to steal the confession from Dean and wipe it, and a skeptical Dean agrees to go out with Gina. But when Dean and Gina burst in, it seems he's rumbled the plan. 4. Linda Carter hits rock bottom. Johnny is determined to stop Linda from drinking by not letting her out of his sight, but this soon becomes too much for her. After secretly turning back to the bottle, Linda makes a show of herself by dropping Gina's birthday cake in front of everyone in the Vic. When Gina laughs at her, Johnny lashes out, having heard that she briefly dated Dean. As her son's plot to discredit Dean is exposed, Linda sees what's going on and forces herself to go in, despite her horror over being near Keanu Taylor's body in the cafe. During an argument between Johnny and Dean, a glass is smashed and Linda cuts her hand. Johnny can't believe it when Linda goes ballistic and shocks everyone. Can Johnny help his traumatized mom? 5. Amy Mitchell conceals Denise Fox's breakdown. Amy worries that Denise and her dad Jack Branning are heading for divorce, and tries to get Jack to make the effort for Valentine's Day by choosing a bracelet for him to give her. But Amy and brother Ricky Branning are rattled when Denise reacts strangely to the bracelet they're trying to hide from her, unaware that she's hallucinating seeing her missing Deed's necklace. Ricky wants to tell Jack about Denise's behavior, but Amy begs him not to for fear of a split between Denise and Jack. Jack surprises Denise with a nice breakfast, but rejects her suggestion for a Valentine's night together, as he secretly wants to be with lover Stacey Slater. Amy continues to worry about Denise, and offers to join her at work, where she continues to act out of character. Ricky again insists they should tell Jack, but Amy refuses and asks Stacy for advice about bipolar, pretending it's for a school project. Will Amy reach out for real help over unwell Denise? 6. Nish Panesar plots to keep Kat Mitchell close. Nish wants to get closer to Kat Mitchell, so Priya Nandrahart tells him that the kids are the route to her heart. Kat and the kids arrive at Nish's for dinner, where twins Bert and Ernie run riot. Kat is amused by how much this is winding Nish up, but soon she's stunned when Nish issues a shock invitation. But are Nish's intentions honorable? Please subscribe our channel.